Hi, my name is Andrew Thrall, and this is the Persuasion speech. One person dies by suicide every 40 seconds somewhere in the world. Global suicide rates have increased by around 60% in the past 45 years and have accounted for almost 2% of the total worldwide deaths every year. With all this knowledge about suicide, you would think that suicide rates would decrease, but why have the rates been increasing in the United States since 2000? After analyzing the results of the survey, there were a total of 3 students who completed it. Of those 3 students, all of them believed that suicide and depression was a major issue in the United States. They believed that suicide awareness in the school system is not treated like it should be, and all of them believed that the treatment for suicide in the school systems is poor. There are many reasons people commit suicide, but the leading cause of suicide is depression. In a high school of 1,000 students, an average of 63 of them attempt suicide because of depression every year. As you can see on this graph, starting at the year 2000, there were about 10.5 suicides per 100,000 people, and in 2009 that raised all the way up to 12 per 100,000 people. But this number can be reduced. Matamati High School, a suburban high school in Minnesota, noticed the amount of students who were missing because of symptoms of depression. Upon further research and planning, the school was granted money and permission to start a mental health screening and evaluation plan for students in the health class. The students were given the Reynolds Adolescent Depression Scale 2nd Edition test during class. The test consisted of 30 questions, and based on the scores of each individual, the test could determine the type of risk the student had of having or developing a mental health problem such as depression. Now, many people believe that screening is unnecessary and that they or their children are not at risk of having a mental illness or developing one in the future, but they are wrong. Based on the collected information from the Matamati High School, about 10% of the students screened were at risk for depression. Had they not taken the screening, help could have never been given to them, or they could have waited until their potential illness increased. Not only have they found at-risk children, they were able to provide them with counseling services and affordable assistance. With school and homework becoming more stressful and difficult because of the fierce competition, depression and suicide have become more abundant. Other causes of suicide are anxiety, death of a loved one, divorce, terminal illness, physical or emotional pain, helplessness, medications, abuse, and low self-esteem. Many parents believe that they know if their kid was depressed or suicidal, but this is not always the case. Roughly 28% of all suicides are unexpected. In my personal experience with one of my close friends, this was the case. Many people with depression are very good at acting normal when in public, but become a very completely different person once they are alone. By hiding and putting on a fake smile, it becomes difficult to understand and treat those people who are in need. That is why screening would be so beneficial to any and every high school in the country. Catching the mental illness early on greatly improves the effectiveness of treating and curing the disease. High school screenings can catch these potential victims early, and the parents can take action immediately with a variety of treatments. With depression being linked to an imbalance of chemicals in the brain, it is difficult to pinpoint the exact problems occurring. There are many medications given that can balance the chemicals like serotonin in the brain. There's also talk therapy, medication, spiritual practices, exercising, brain surgery, and even electrical stimulation. All people will have different reactions to the different treatments given. Suicide and depression is better recognized by some of us more than others, but we all know the sadness it brings to everyone. It is a murder that leaves people confused and shocked. The good news is that the terrible disease is treatable, and the quicker we catch it, the easier it is to get rid of. Applying screening tests in high schools is easy and affordable. It proves to be effective and can save the lives of thousands of young adults every year. Thank you. That's good.